One's a shiny retro legend with a 10-year battery. The other's a feature-packed beast under $20. Let's see who wins. Casio A178W versus Skmei 1381. We'll break it down by features, design, stopwatch, backlight, even battery life, and show you which one gives you the best value for your wrist.
Casio A178W versus Skmei 1381.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Frugal Watchbox. Today we're comparing two affordable digital watches under $25. The retro-style Casio A178W, just $20, and the rugged Skmei 1381, which cost me $8 less than a burger combo. Both look alike, but which one's the better everyday watch? Let's break down the design, features, and value for your money.
Case dimensions.
Alright, let's start by getting the tape measure out. Digitally, of course, and check out the case dimensions of both these affordable timekeeping machines. First up, the Casio A178W. This little guy keeps it classic and compact. Case width, 34 millimeters, nice and wearable for most wrist sizes, especially if you prefer that vintage digital aesthetic without wrist overload. Lug-to-lug distance, 41.2 millimeters, gives it a good wrist presence without overreaching. Thickness, around 10.8 millimeters, slim enough to slide under a cuff or a hoodie if you're going full casual. Lug width, 18 millimeters, which is pretty standard, and that means you've got plenty of options when it comes to swapping in aftermarket straps, NATO bands, or stainless steel bracelets. And as for the weight, just 51 grams. That's right, only 51 grams. This thing is lightweight enough to forget you're even wearing it, but still bold enough to get noticed. It won't drag your wrist down during daily wear, workouts, or while you're typing furiously in the comment section about Casio is king. Now let's switch gears and take a look at the Skmei 1381, the budget beast. Case width, slightly chunkier at 35.5 millimeters, just enough to look bolder without screaming, "I borrowed this from my dad." Lug to lug, 43.2 millimeters, noticeably longer than the Casio, so it may feel a tad larger on smaller wrists. Thickness, around 11.7 millimeters, a bit thicker than the A178W, giving it a slightly more rugged wrist feel. Lug width, again, 18 millimeters, so you're not limited when it comes to upgrading the strap game. Plenty of options out there on Amazon or AliExpress. The Skmei 1381 weighs in at 62 grams, which makes it a bit heavier than the Casio A178W. That extra weight mostly comes from its larger case size and chunkier build. But don't worry, it's still very much in the lightweight digital watch category. You won't feel like you're hauling a brick on your wrist, just a bit more presence, perfect for those who like their budget watches with a little more substance. So what's the verdict? In terms of size, the Skmei 1381 is clearly the bigger watch, a bit wider, a bit longer, and a bit thicker. If you like your digital watches with a little more wrist presence, Skmei brings the bulk. If you prefer a more discreet, retro-sized look, the Casio A178W stays true to its old-school roots. And hey, whether you're dressing for the office, the gym, or just flexing your wrist in a TikTok video, both watches offer solid options for men's fashion, watch enthusiasts, and budget-savvy shoppers looking for a great fit under $25.
Viewing angles.
Alright, before we dive deeper into features and functions, let's do a quick check on something that's surprisingly important: viewing angles. Because what good is a watch if you have to twist your arm like a yoga pose just to read the time? First up, the Casio A178W. From left to right, or right to left if you're rebellious, it holds up really well. The LCD screen stays clear, sharp, and legible without any noticeable ghosting. Casio really nailed the contrast and clarity here. You get bold, oversized digits that pop off the screen, even in lower lighting. It's easy on the eyes and quick to read, especially when you're glancing down during a boring Zoom call. Now let's talk about the Skmei 1381. Left to right, the Skmei 1381 holds its own. The display stays clear and readable from standard side angles, so you won't be squinting or wondering if it's 358 or 853. For day-to-day use, it delivers a sharp, easy-to-read screen just fine. Both watches struggle when flipped vertically. Top-to-bottom view and angles aren't great on either model. That's just a common trait of budget digital LCDs. But overall, Casio takes the win here for having a more stable and reliable digital display that holds its contrast from almost any normal angle. So if you're all about legibility, clear LCD screens, and everyday usability, the A178W edges ahead with its crisper display. The Skmei 1381 still gets the job done, but might need a bit more wrist tilting here and there.
Wrist shots.
Now let's talk real-world fit, because specs are great, but how a watch actually wears on your wrist. That's where the rubber meets the road, or rather, the watch meets the wrist. First up, Casio A178W. With its 34mm case size, this watch fits beautifully on my slim 6.5-inch wrist. It doesn't look oversized, and it's definitely not too small either. The compact design gives it a clean, classic look, very retro, very wearable. It sits flush on the wrist, making it perfect for daily wear, under a sleeve, or peeking out from a hoodie. If you've got a smaller wrist, this is basically a tailor-made fit. Now for the Skmei 1381. At 35.5mm, it's slightly larger than the Casio, but still fits my wrist surprisingly well. It doesn't overwhelm the wrist at all, and actually gives off a slightly sportier, more modern presence. Despite its larger footprint, it feels balanced and solid from every angle. No awkward overhang, no bulky vibe. Just a confident fit that says, yes, I only paid $8 for this, and it still looks great. So whether you're a fan of slim wrist watches, or you just want something lightweight and comfortable for everyday wear, both of these models check the box. And if you've been worried about budget digital watches looking too cheap or too bulky, these two prove otherwise.
Case and dial comparison.
Let's get into the real meat of the comparison, the case and dial design. These two digital watches may share a similar price bracket, but stylistically, they walk very different paths. Starting with the Casio A178W. The watch features a flat resin crystal, standard for this category, but durable enough for daily wear. It has a unibody construction, with the bezel end case molded as a single piece, giving it a smooth and seamless finish. The case design is a classic octagonal shape, softened with gently rounded edges. It's got that vintage Casio DNA, channeling serious 70s and 80s vibes. Finished in a highly polished, silver-colored chrome-plated resin, it delivers a shiny, clean look without going overboard. The overall aesthetic is sleek, understated, and retro cool. Perfect for fans of minimalist digital designs that don't scream for attention. Around the bezel, you'll find the usual suspects. Top side, Casio, Illuminator, and Alarm Chrono proudly printed. Bottom side, WR in blue for water resistance, dual time, and 10-year battery. Yes, a decade-long battery life on a $20 watch. Not bad, Casio. There are 4 functional buttons, 2 on each side. Right side, one controls the backlight, the other stops the chronograph. Left side, you can adjust and mode buttons for toggling through features. The dial is framed by a white border, giving it a clean windowed look. The top of the LCD screen displays the day and date with nice readable digits. The main time readout sits below, in bold, large numbers, super legible even with a quick glance. At the very bottom, you'll find the alarm icon and possibly other indicators when features like the hourly chime or countdown timer are activated. Now, let's move on to the Skmei 1381. While the Casio plays it safe and retro, the the Skmei 1381 takes a bolder route. It features a chunkier rectangular case with sharper corners and a layered bezel design, a more aggressive, sporty look right out of the gate. The finish is still chrome-plated, but this time it's glossier, flashier, and overall feels like it's trying to channel G-Shock energy, but at a fraction of the price. The design leans toward a tech-forward, rugged aesthetic, with more depth in the case, more button protrusion, and a generally busier visual feel. This one's definitely geared toward active users, sporty styling, or anyone who wants their digital watch to look like it's ready for adventure, even if it's just a grocery run. Like the Casio, it has a resin crystal and unibody case bezel construction, so you still get that unified frame. At the top of the bezel, you'll see the L luminous imprint, signaling the presence of a strong backlight for nighttime visibility. Just beneath that are large buttons labeled Start, Stop, and Adjust, and they're blended into the case design, looking almost flush with the bezel, sleek and functional. It also features 4 buttons, but with a twist. Right side, top button, control set and adjust functions. Bottom button, a single button with dual functions. The right imprint on the inner panel is used to toggle settings during time or alarm adjustments, while the 12/24 imprint on the bezel switches between 12-hour and 24-hour formats. Left side, top button, triggers the backlight with the internal imprint boldly labeled Noctilucent, which sounds fancy, but just means it glows in the dark. Bottom button, left and mode imprints, used for mode selection and toggling features like countdown timer, dual time, or alarm settings. The dial layout is more complex than the Casio. At the top, you have the day of the week displayed. Below that, a horizontal line separates the display zones, adding a cool layered effect. Under the line is the main time display, which includes a P indicator when using 12-hour format to denote afternoon hours. At the bottom, you get the year and full numeric date, something the Casio doesn't show. Further down are the 5 alarm indicators. Here alarm 2 is activated. So, what's the takeaway? The Casio A178W is all about retro simplicity, sleek lines, no-nonsense layout, and a clean, iconic look that doesn't try too hard. The Skmei 1381, by contrast, gives you more complexity, more data on the screen, and a bolder design that flirts with G-Shock styling, but still keeps things lightweight and wallet-friendly. Whether you want something clean and nostalgic or chunky and sporty, both offer fantastic value in the under $25 digital watch space.
Bracelet and Caseback Comparison.
Let's talk about what holds the watch on your wrist, the bracelet and caseback. Small details, but they shape the comfort, style, and long-term wearability of a digital watch. Casio A178W. Bracelet. Classic folded link stainless steel, lightweight, flexible, and loaded with vintage charm. Style. Pure 1980s nostalgia, like something you find in your dad's drawer next to a cassette tape. Links. Slim rectangular links with polished edges that shimmer subtly. Clasp. Fold over with a proper Casio logo. Simple and dependable. Overall feel. Lightweight and comfortable, matching the square LCD case design perfectly. Caseback. Stainless steel stamped with the Casio logo, module model numbers, and water resistant. Made in China, but with Casio's solid build quality. Skmei 1381. Bracelet. Also a folded link stainless steel band, though slightly bulkier in build. Style. Retro inspired with a more chunky and rugged aesthetic. Links. Wider and flatter. Finish in a more muted matte tone. Clasp. Fold over as well, but no logo branding, strictly business. Overall feel. Feels more solid on the wrist and leans into that tough digital watch vibe. The caseback is non-stainless and features several imprints around the outer ring, including water-resistant 3 ATM 30 meters. Just below that is the CR2032 battery code, a durable lithium coin cell that typically lasts between 3 to 5 years. At the center, you'll find the Skmei logo, the model number, and another AATM marking.
Features breakdown: Casio A178W versus Skmei 1381.
Design: Casio A178W, slim, shiny, and polished. Perfect for those who like their watches with a side of throwback cool. Skmei 1381 is chunkier, more like a digital brick strapped to your wrist. But hey, it's tough and built for function, not fashion. Dual time and world time. Both watches let you track 2 time zones, great for frequent flyers or long-distance relationships. Casio takes it further with world time, so you'll know when it's midnight in New York while you're still eating breakfast in LA. Stopwatch and countdown timer. Casio gives you a 1/100-second stopwatch with split time and first-second place tracking. Basically, race ready. Skmei matches that stopwatch and adds a countdown timer, great for interval training or timing your instant noodles. Alarms and hourly signal. Casio has one multifunction alarm with snooze, classic, and simple. Skmei goes all in with 5 alarms. 1 for waking up, 1 for hydration, 1 for crypto, 1 for pizza, 1 just for fun. Both have an hourly chime because sometimes you need your watch to remind you that time's still moving. Backlight. Casio uses a greenish LED with afterglow. It's chill, nostalgic, and great in the dark. Skmei lights up the room with an EL backlight, blue bright, and lasts about 3 seconds. Perfect for late-night Taco Bell runs or finding your keys under the couch. Calendar. Casio's auto calendar goes up to the year 2099. So if you forget a birthday in 2087, it's not the watch's fault. Skmei runs from 2000 to 2049, still good for a few decades of appointments and excuses. Display and accuracy. Casio shows time, date, day, and PM indicator. Skmei adds the year, because sometimes we really do forget what year it is. Both are accurate to about plus or minus 30 seconds per month, which is way better than that friend who's always 5 minutes away. Battery life. Casio crushes this one. CR2025 battery with a lifespan of 10 years. Basically, set it and forget it until the next decade. Skmei uses a CR2032, good for 3 to 5 years. Still decent, and you can probably swap it out for pocket change. Water resistance. Both watches are 30 meters water resistant. So yes, to hand washing in rain. No, to deep sea diving and washing your car with your wrist. Style and branding. Casio brings the iconic brand power. It's like wearing a slice of digital watch history. Skmei? Not much branding, but lots of function. No fluff, just features. Price and value. Casio costs a little more, but you get style, reputation, and a 10-year battery. Skmei is ultra budget and offers more features for fewer dollars. If you're price focused, this thing delivers.
Alarm comparison.
Now, let's check out the alarm function on both watches. First up, the Casio A178W. Then, the Skmei 1381. Both have modest alarm sounds, not too loud, not too soft. But the Skmei, it's got a bit more punch, like it really wants you to wake up. Conclusion. If you need a louder daily alarm, Skmei takes the lead. But if you're a light sleeper or just hate loud beeping, Casio works just fine.
Backlight Comparison.
Now let's compare the backlight display on both digital watches. First, the Casio A178W. It gives off a soft greenish-yellow glow, covers the whole panel, and even outshines entry-level Casios like the F91W. Next, the Skmei 1381. This one has an electroluminescence backlight that's noticeably brighter, like a flashlight for your wrist. Conclusion: when it comes to nighttime visibility, Skmei takes the win. If you need something bright in the dark, this budget watch won't let you down.
Water resistance test.
Both watches are rated at 30 meters water resistance, meaning they can handle splashes, rain, and hand washing like a champ. Just don't take them scuba diving unless you like surprises. So I put them to the real-world test. First, under running tap water, no problem. Then a full soak in the sink for a few minutes. Both came out clean, clear, and still ticking.
Final verdict.
If you're into that classic retro design, want a name you can trust, and don't want to change your battery for the next 10 years, the Casio A178W is a solid pick. It's sleek, dependable, and perfect for everyday use. But if you're battling on a tighter budget and want more features like a countdown timer, 5 alarms, and a bright EL backlight, then the Skmei 1381 gives you way more bang for your buck. At the end of the day, both watches are great options in the under $25 digital watch space. It just comes down to what matters more, brand and battery, or features and value. Either way, you win.
And that wraps up this digital watch review. Whether you're rocking the Casio A178W or the Skmei 1381, both are solid choices for the best budget digital watch under 25 bucks. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more affordable timepiece reviews and drop a comment. Which one's your pick? Want to support the channel? Grab some Frugal Watchbox merch on Amazon or buy me a coffee, links down below. Every bit helps this small channel keep ticking. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it frugal.